great to be practicing with you guys tonight. So we're going to start in our seated Sukhasana. I love to use a blanket or a prop or a block or a bolster, something we can lift the hips with, and we can create this lumbar curve as we press down through the sits bones. If you have a square blanket, that diamond shape, we can just fall right off the edge of it. Grabbing the knees with the fingertips, just letting the fingertips curl around the knees, and on that next exhale, just pull back on the knees and lift up through the heart. Press through the sits bones. We can have the chin parallel here. And this gives us that relaxed attention we like to just center in with our foundational breath for tonight, which is Dirga Swasam, this 3-part breath. On that next inhale, let the belly fill up like a balloon. And then on the exhale, pull the navel back towards the spine and up under the rib cage a little bit, squeezing the bottom of the lungs. On that next inhale, take the breath into the belly, through the side body, creeping into the underarms. And then exhale, allow everything to relax, those little muscles between the ribs, and then pull the navel back underneath the rib cage. And then on your next inhale, when that happens for you, inhale into the belly, take it up through the side body, inhabit, and gently, subtly let the shoulders and the collarbones lift a tiny bit, and then exhale, allow that breath to move down through the side body, pulling the navel to the spine, and we're breathing through the nose if the passages are clear. Closing the eyes and just noticing this body sitting here. Sitting is just like this. We can notice how this body is heavy and the pressure on the mat. We can see this body as an object in consciousness. Somehow we know where our hands and our feet are. It's in front of us. It's acting in front of us. And asana practice can help us discover that we're not really this body. Actually, in yogic science, we have 5 bodies, 5 koshas that we inhabit with our awareness to have this human experience. And so as you breathe, notice this body sitting here in space. Taking this attitude of matching movement with breath tonight, on that next inhale, take that left shoulder to the ear, press it up towards the ear, and then press it back and away so the shoulder blade separates from the back. And we can let it slide or melt down the rib cage. And then I'll take the right side, alternate shoulders, inhaling that shoulder up, exhale, press it back and away. Just feeling and sensing this part of the body, the shoulder blades in the back of the heart. Matching movement with breath. And then take both shoulders to the ears after that right side. Exhale out the mouth. Pull the navel to the spine. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale, let the hands float up off the knees, open up into a T position. Press through the sits bones, lift through the crown, reach through the fingertips. There's energy through the hands here. Start to pretend like your middle finger is a pencil and start drawing little circles, starting maybe about the size of a dime. And you're just doing long, slow, deep breathing here, and the circles start to get a little bit wider and a little bit wider. And so maybe there's the size of a grapefruit. And then as we're inhaling and just breathing, we can get maybe the size of a basketball and just take it, each movement through, a little bit wider. Energy out through the hands, through the fingertips. Press into the earth or the blanket or the block or the bolster. Good. Now we get to 12 o'clock and we're just going to reverse directions here. Starting off big, and we're going to make the circles a little bit smaller as we move through, breathing, sensing and feeling this body. And the circles get so tiny, and maybe they're about the size of a dime, getting smaller and smaller, reaching out through the fingertips, and then just coming to your center. Pretend like your fingers are pencils, make little dots. Reach out, inhale, sweep those arms. Press the hands into each other evenly, slight back bend from the bra line. So this is active, the chin is parallel. Press those hands, and then exhale, bring those hands down through heart center. Bowing the chin to the chest and just telling this body right here at the beginning, because this body has its own intelligence. It's always talking to you. Sometimes it has to yell a little louder. Turn off the Netflix, you're really tired. And if we don't pay attention, we're gonna, have a karma there. The next day we're going to be tired because we didn't listen to the body. So we can override it. So make sure you make that promise right here to not go over your edge into pain or discomfort. We only move to where it feels right. Please, please honor this body and tell this body that you love it. This body is always listening. It's always awake and aware. Trillions of functions are happening without our mental capacity even having to label or conceptualize them. And then this body, knows you're loving it because you're practicing asana, posture practice, letting go of tension, getting things moving. The body loves asana practice. It's always so grateful when we're finished. Coming forward onto hands and knees into table position. We want to get the knees right underneath the hips, the wrists underneath the shoulders, the fingers are spread wide. Press the tops of the feet into the mat if that's available for you tonight, just opening the front of the ankles subtly. And we're just going to take a few cat-cows with the spine here. On that next exhale, lead with the back of the heart, reach, press the pubic bone forward, let the head hang, cat, like a scared Halloween cat. Inhale, cow. You're pulling back on the hands and you're pulling that heart through in the shoulder blades, back and down the back. On that next exhale, press out through cat. Inhale, cow. And it's like we're pulling that heart through at the end. We're lifting up out of the crown. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. This is so great for the spine. And that is your major energy highway that feeds this body. Next, after your next cow, just come back through neutral spine. We're gonna step back with that right foot, press out through the ball of the foot, and if it's available, you might be able to hop the right foot over the left, and we can press into the inside of that right hand and take a look over that left shoulder, and we're creating almost like a C shape with the spine. Breathing. Inhale, the head comes back through center. We can hop that foot back over, drop the right knee, press out through the left, get the Achilles heel going, get out through the calf, press the ball of the foot into the mat. And then if it's available, float that left foot up and drop it over that right foot. And here we can press into the inside of the left hand and take a look over that right shoulder this time, if that's available. Almost like you're trying to see the foot behind you. breathing. And we're really opening the rib cage, if you notice, there on that left side, as you're breathing. You're getting into the intercostal muscles, those little muscles between the ribs. So after your practice, you'll breathe deeper naturally. Coming back through center, we're going to hop that left foot over. Get the weight to the insides of the hands where this thumb and pointer finger meet. It's like you have two jars under your hands. You're trying to take the tops off towards the center. Tuck the toes, press the hips to the heels. This saves so much on the wrist with your downward facing dog. Press it up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog, let the head hang. You're just pedaling out the heels. Don't even worry if your heels don't reach to the mat. That could even be anatomy. We're pressing out through, just warming up a little bit, walking that dog, let the head hang, yes and no. Get some tension or traction in that cervical spine. Bend the knees, look between the thumbs, step, hop, walk. Take your first forward bend here. Lift the toes, start to stretch that mat between the feet, softness in the knees. Press out through the sits bones towards the ceiling and flatten the backs of the kneecaps towards the wall behind you as you reach through, letting the head hang. You're grabbing the mat with the toes. You're stretching that little piece of mat between the feet. And then soften the knees. And then try it again on that next exhale. Lift up. We're not like bouncing or anything like that. We're just lifting up gently, letting the head hang. Breathing. Soften knees, T arms. Stretch that mat between the feet. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Nice slight back bend from the broad line as you press the hands into each other evenly. Pull those hands down through heart center into Samastiti, and then we're just going to check in with the feet. Lift the toes and grab the mat with the feet. Start to stretch this little tiny piece of mat between the feet. This will help the kneecaps to lift. Everything will become active in the glutes, in the quadricep muscle group on the front of the legs. And then gently drop those hands to the side body, and maybe even turn the palms out from the elbows under if that's available for you. Taking the chin parallel, dropping the shoulder blades down the back, stretching the mat between the feet. Breathing here in your Tadasana. And so if you think this body is you, you're going to live a life of a roller coaster and fear because you know, this body is always changing. So if you trust in something that's always changing, you're going to end up being frustrated. And even regular science, you know, points out, and even yogic science said this a long time ago, every cell in your body has been replaced every 12 years, including your bones. So this body is always changing. It's always shifting. And so if we think this body is me, we identify with Annamaya Kosha, the food sheath, we could be in for some suffering. So here in our practice, we can start to see the body as an object in consciousness. It's undeniable if you directly look at it, direct attention and seeing this body acting in front of us. And so you might notice the body swaying here. We know where our hands and our feet are. We can sense hot and cold in the room. There's pressure under the feet. We're grabbing the mat with the toes. We can see this body. On that next inhale, soften the knees, sweep those arms. Slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, lead hard, hinge hips. Forward bend. Bend knees, plant hands. Step back with that right foot. We're going to choose a lunge. Maybe you're going to take the knee dropped if that's what your practice is. Tuck the toe and lift the knee maybe with the foot frame. This could be a great start. Or if it's available, press through the feet. Stretch this piece of mat between the feet. As you press up and keep the hips square, Anjaneyasana. Big inhale, sweep those arms. And if it's available, take that slight back bend from the broad line and sink that knee just over the ankle here. We're not dropping to the inside. That knee is opening out to the pinky toe as we stretch the mat. Take a few breaths here. Crescent lunge, breathing. Inhale, slight back bend. Exhale, let's frame that foot. Step back with the left, downward facing dog. Give it a few petals here, let the head hang. On that next inhale, we're gonna shift forward into a push-up plank. We get the heels over the balls of the feet and that body in one straight line. The wrists are under the shoulders, the fingers are spread wide, and we're not crowding the ears with the shoulders. We're pressing the ears back and away, getting those shoulder blades down the back. Taking a few deep breaths here in plank pose. On that next exhale, press off the toes, keep those elbows in, lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Flatten the feet, inhale, press up into your first cobra. Just lifting up off the mat to about where the navel is. We're pulling the hands back towards this body. We're getting the shoulder blades down the back. The gaze is down, there's length through the neck. Press the pubic bone into the mat, the tops of the feet. Next exhale, gently lower this body, tuck toes. Push the hips back to the heels, push it up, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, pedal it out. So here, this is our choice. Some people might raise that right leg high, shift forward into push-up plank, bring that knee into the chest and drop the foot. So that's one approach. Or you can just step the foot up, or maybe you need to drop the leg and help that foot up. Coming into our lunge on the other side, you choose your lunge. Maybe it's knee drop, maybe it's toe tuck, knee lift, foot framed, or press on up, Anjaneyasana. Nice square hips, nice square heart. Inhale, sweep those arms. And then exhale, we're gonna drop the hands behind the back if this is available. Interlace those fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, reach through the knuckles. Maybe you bring the palms together, some people like that. And then if it's available, exhale, folding forward here with Yoga Mudra, breathing. Close your eyes and feel this body if that's okay. If it throws you off balance, you're gonna keep the eyes open. Inhale, press through the feet. Slowly coming on up, squeeze those scapula, release the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms, slight back bend. Exhale, let's frame that foot, stepping back right, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale, through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or maybe up dog. Up dog's a little bit higher. My thighs are off the mat here. My elbows are a little straighter. The weight is to the insides of the hands. The shoulders aren't crowding the ears. They're backing down. I'm pulling those shoulder blades down the back, lengthening through the crown. Exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Bend knees, look between thumbs, step, hop, walk, forward bend. Soften knees, T arms, stretch that mat all the way up. Slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, pull those hands down through heart center. Take a few deep breaths here. Drop the hands into Tadasana. Start to see this body as an object in consciousness. And then you have another body, which is your energy body, Pranamaya Kosha. And maybe we can sense an aliveness. I like looking at the hands is really nice. We can feel energy. We just somehow know where everything in the body is. It's maybe a pins and needles or an aliveness. It glows maybe. It's radiant. And then maybe feel the cheeks and the face. On that next inhale, soften the knees, sweep those arms. Slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, lead hard, hinge hips, forward bend. Bend knees, plant hands. We're gonna step back with the right foot, but this time we're gonna put it on a 45-degree angle, and we're gonna cut an edge with that back foot. The knee is over the ankle here. You could stay foot frame for warrior one, or press it on up. Nice square hips, nice square heart here. So if you find your hips kind of off to the side here, we want to square those hips off, let that knee drop out to the pinky toe. We're stretching this piece of mat between the feet, cutting that edge with the back foot. Inhale, we're just going to sweep the arms here. And this time, we're just going to take cactus arms as we scrape the back of the room, and we take a few breaths here. Really scraping the back of the room. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, scrape. Big inhale, sweep these arms on up, slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, frame that foot, step back, lap, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale, through chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra, or maybe up dog. A little bit deeper, breathing. Exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels. Bend knees, look between thumbs. Step, hop, or walk up to the hands. Forward bend, let it all go. And you might even want to take waterfall here, where we just grab the arms, create that little hammock with the forearms, and let the head hang. And we may even want to just sway to the left, bend in that right knee, and then inhale back through center. Come to the other side, let the heel lift the opposite way. The opposite heel of whatever side you're on lifts. And then back through center. Let the arms go. Soften the knees. Step back with that left foot, 45. Cut that edge. Stay here, foot framed, or press through the feet with square hips, a square heart. We're going to take that nice big inhale, sweeping those arms. Soften the knee over the ankle, stretch the mat between the feet. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. And here you may want to take that yoga mudra if it's available. Gently dropping the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, squeeze those scapula, lift up through the heart. Exhale, folding forward with yoga mudra. Press the hands away from the back. We're stretching the mat between the feet. We're breathing. Inhale, press through the feet. Slowly come on up, squeeze those scapula, release the hands. Inhale, sweep those arms, slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, cartwheel forward, frame that foot, step back right, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale through chaturanga dandasana. This time, extend the arms long, reach through the fingertips, through the toes. On an exhale, pull the hands back, and underneath the shoulders here, forearms are stuck to the mat. The fingers are stuck to the mat here. We're pulling back on the forearms, and we're going to pull that heart through, Sphinx pose. Breathing as you lengthen through the neck. Neck Next exhale. Lengthen those arms into superhero pose. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Inhale, slide those hands back under. Press the hips back to the heels. Tuck toes. Push it up. Downward facing dog. Give it a few breaths here. Bend knees, look between thumbs, step, hop, walk, forward bend. T-arms, stretch mat between the feet, reverse swan dive all the way up. Slight back bend, broad line, exhale, pull those hands down through heart center, Samastiti. And then gently dropping the hands to the side body. Soften the knees and grab the mat with the toes, stretch that mat, lift the kneecaps. Take the shoulders to the ears, press them back and away and reach through the fingertips, lift through the heart. Turn the palms out from the elbows under, stretching that mat. Taking a few breaths here, just noticing this body. We also have two mental bodies. And so we have Manamaya Kosha, which is more of the basic mind, figuring out the world for us essentially and putting that into some kind of order. And then we have this high intelligence, Vijnanamaya Kosha, where we start to put things together and create concepts and thinking about. And so we can notice that. We can notice just thinking is moving through this experience. Each thought has a beginning, a middle, and an end. We don't really care what the thought is. We're just taking a mindful view of it. And thoughts feel a little different than this body if you investigate or practice. Maybe they're lighter, they're moving faster. It's still an object in consciousness. It's still a form. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A thought, thinking, conceptualizing. And this body has a form, and this energy body also we can feel energized. And so we can stand here from this higher perspective and notice all of it, can't we? In mountain pose here. We can see this body. We can notice energy in this body. And we can watch thoughts. Openness is your natural state. Inhale, soften the knees, sweep those arms, nice slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward bend. Bend knees, plant hands. This time we're going to step back with that right foot. This time, if it's available, drop that knee, flatten the back foot here. So we're coming into a little lower lunge here, starting to get into that hip girdle. Breathing with the gaze down. And so you can stay right here. You can even use blocks underneath the hands if you need to. If you need to come up a little bit higher, you could put 2 blocks underneath your hands. And you could stay right here. Or if you can, or if it's available, bring that left hand to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe that foot out a little bit. And see if you can maybe just soften the elbows with the hands to the inside. Just breathing a little bit deeper into that hip girdle. And you could stay right here. This is really nice right here. Or if we want to take this one step further, you could slide that left hand against that left foot. Press the arm against the leg and the leg into the arm, the foot into the hand into the foot. Tuck that toe and you could stay here. Or lift that back knee. This is great. Pressing out through that heel, you could stay right here. Or if you want, take a twist on an exhale. Let that right hand float on up with the gaze down at the hand. breathing. You're pressing the arm into the leg and the leg into the arm there on that left side. Create that stability. Press through the mat. You're stretching the mat between the feet. You're gazing down, breathing. Exhale, let that right hand float on down. We're gonna hop the left over that foot, stepping back left, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale through chaturanga, or you could even drop knees, chest, chin. Lower on down. Inhale, press up, cobra. Bhujangasana. Exhale, gently lower this body, tuck toes, hips to heels, downward facing dog. And again, taking that right foot, maybe lifting it high, three-legged dog, shifting forward, knee to chest, drop that foot. We can drop that left knee, lunge on the other side. We could stay here, foot framed, just getting deep into that hip girdle. Or if it's available, you could bring that hand to the inside of that foot. And here you could even use a blanket underneath your hands if you want, or something to raise them up, or blocks if you need to. And gently, see if you can soften in the elbows, just softly coming down into this deeper lunge. The gaze is down, breathing long, slow, and deep. And then if it's available, slide the right hand against the right foot, arm against the leg, tuck that left toe, lift the knee if available. Stay here, or on an exhale, twist it out. Float that left hand up, the gaze is down, breathing. Really create that stability. Press the arm into the leg. Gently floating that hand on down. We're gonna reframe that foot, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale, gently lower down through chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, peel up cobra or up dog. Exhale, gently lower this body, tuck toes, push it back, downward facing dog. Give it a pedal. Bend knees, look between thumbs, step hop or walk up to the hands. And this time we're gonna take a little bind. Interlace the peace fingers around the toes, soften the knees. And on this next exhale, lift up through the sits bones, letting the head hang, pulling up on the toes, gently, gently, breathing. Soften knees, release that bind, float those arms up, sweep the arms up. Nice slight back bend, broad line. Press the hands into each other evenly, pull them down into heart center. Through Samastiti, lift the toes, grab the mat, stretch the mat, release the arms, turn the palms out from the elbows under. Stretch that mat between the feet. Gazing forward, chin parallel, closing the eyes. And so one of the first practices that was recommended to me, which I really love, is we can really deeply practice this in asana because we're really looking at this body. But when we listen to the body and we have to become still, thinking is really loud and obnoxious usually. And so it overrides the body a lot of times. It's more exciting to look at that. But then we can catch ourselves when we say, you know, I'm thirsty or I am hungry, and to realize, first of all, you know, from the viewpoint of yogic science, this body is hungry. You're not hungry. who you truly are, exalted perpetual consciousness, is perpetual, no matter if there was hunger or not. And so hunger moves through us, and then we say mistakenly, I am hungry, or I am thirsty, or I am tired, or I am sick. And so this body is thirsty, this body is tired, this body may have some disease or sickness. But you, the real you, is the seer in the background. And so even as we think about it, you can change your language. You can say that. It might sound weird to other people because they don't understand what you're talking about, but you could say, I do it mistakenly, and people are like, what? I say, this body is hungry, which is really kind of strange, but it's true. Soften the knees on that next inhale. Sweep the arms. Slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, lead hard, hinge hips. Forward bend. Bend knees, plant hands. Step back right, step back left. Downward facing dog. Inhale, shifting forward into a push-up plank here. Exhale, through chaturanga all the way down to the mat. And then gently turn a cheek to the mat, get the arms alongside the body, and just rocking the hips here for a second. Taking a few deep breaths here. On that next inhale, turning the face towards the mat, we're going to reach through the toes, through the fingertips, and just peel the collarbones up just a little bit. Start to press the pubic bone and the tops of the legs into the mat a tiny bit. On that next inhale, moving into locust pose, Shalabhasana. Big inhale, we're gonna lift through the toes, lift off the mat, reach through the fingertips. It's like you're trying to shake hands behind your back. And you're reaching through the toes and you're breathing and getting the shoulders back and down. Each inhale lifts you off the mat just a little bit more. Big inhale, lifting up and out. Exhale, gently lower this body. Turn the opposite cheek to the mat and let everything go into the earth. Feel this body lying here. Pressure, we can feel the surface area, the tactile sensation of clothing. We can notice the breath, sounds in the room, hot and cold. Inhale, turning that face towards the mat. We're going to slide the hands up under the shoulders, tuck the toes, push the hips back to the heels. Downward facing dog here. We're going to press up. Give it a few petals. Bend knees, look between thumbs, step, hop, walk, forward bend. T arms, stretch that mat between the feet. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Slight back bend from the brow line. Pull those hands down through heart center. Gently dropping the hands to the side body. Lift the toes, grab the mat with the feet. Start to stretch that mat. Chin is parallel, lifting through the crown. And so Annamaya Kosha, this body, and then we have, Pranamaya Kosha, this energy body, which is really affected by breath, our breathing, movement of energy through the nadi channels, which are energy channels, or in acupuncture they call them meridian lines, feeding the intelligence to allow all of these atoms to come together and form this physical food sheath, Annamaya Kosha, the body. And so when we practice asana, we start to affect this energy body, especially if we're breathing deep. So just take a moment and just notice the aliveness. I mean, we can easily feel how heavy and dense the body is, and then there's something even deeper maybe we could recognize, this aliveness. On that next inhale, we're just going to grab the hands to the hips here, coming in for a little balancing pose. We're going to soften in that left knee and just step the right foot back, just like a little bunny hop back. Coming in for warrior 3 here. So pressing in, just creating a little springboard with that back foot. Make sure the hips are nice and square to the front and we're not off to an angle here. Softness in the knees. Some people might just have the hands on the hips for this. Or if it's available, sweep those arms, take that slight back bend and spread the fingers wide and just start to shift the weight forward enough that you can allow that back foot to lift up off the mat. And maybe you're right here, this is perfect. Or some people might be able to shift a little bit forward, starting to flex that back foot like you're standing on the wall behind you. You're reaching out through the fingertips. And then you might even be able to internally rotate that back foot and start to get that back hip down a little bit. Breathing into warrior 3. And sometimes you're gonna fall out. So make sure you're kind to yourself and get right back in. We kind of just laugh at ourselves. Breathing. Next, exhale, soften in the knee, find that back foot to the floor. Take that slight back bend from the broad line, little cartwheel forward, frame that foot. Stepping back left, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale through chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, gently lower this body, tuck toes, push it out. Downward facing dog. Bend knees, lift between thumbs, step, hop, walk, forward bend. T arms, stretch that mat. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Slight back bend, broad line. Exhale, pull those hands down through heart center. Dropping the hands to the side body, and then you can even pull the hands here. Maybe come into power posture just with the hands on the hips. This time, we're going to take a step back with that left foot, little bunny hop back, find the ball of the foot. This knee is slightly bent in the front. Nice square hips, nice square heart here. And then you can stay with the hands on the hips or sweep those arms. Take that slight back bend, give yourself a little momentum. Create that little springboard off the back foot, and maybe you're just right here, or maybe you fold a little bit further into it, flexing that back foot, internally rotating that thigh, breathing into warrior 3. Gently touching down with that back foot, softening that knee. Nice slight back bend, cartwheel forward, frame that front foot, stepping back right, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, push up plank. Exhale through chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, gently lower this body, tuck toes, and bring the knees wide. And bring the big toes together, push it in for balasana, child's pose. The arms can be long here, the fingers can spread wide. We could maybe even stack the forearms and just bring the third eye to that. Or we could create a little telescope to the earth for the third eye with stacked fists. Coming in for Balasana, allowing yourself to see this body, to feel this energy body, to notice mentally there's something happening, emotionally. And we're not trying to change our mood to make it into a better mood or a yogic mood. All we're doing is allowing what's here. There's something in you that sees it all. On that next inhale, we're just going to lift the head, slowly press it back up, find that table position with this body. And here we're going to come into pigeon pose. So it's really great to have a blanket or blocks or something to prop your hip for this one. So if you have that blanket, just keep that on the right side here. And we're going to just take that right foot out, press that right foot out. And then on the next exhale, we're going to bring that knee forward, and maybe we bring it between the hands here and lengthen out through that left leg a little bit. It's almost kind of like you're sitting on the heel at first, and now you can press into the hands and lift the body and then heel toe that foot to the other side. So the right foot towards the left corner of the mat. Now for most of us, we're going to have space underneath the hip here, and that's where this prop comes in handy. We can bring that prop under, and that way we can lean the hips down into it. Now, we could just stay here with the knee framed, pulling back on the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades down the back. Take a look back, make sure that leg is parallel with the mat. And we could stay here, or if it's available, some people like to walk the hands forward here, maybe stacking the forearms and just coming into sleeping pigeon as you breathe. On that next inhale, take the hands out and slide them back under the shoulders. If you had them down, press into the hands. Pull that heart through. Squeeze the scapula together. And then exhale, slide that knee back. We're going to tuck that back toe and just do little circles with the knee in both directions, just letting that hip hang in traction. This time, have your blanket on the left side. We're going to step that left foot back. Just press out through the ball of the foot here. Let that left foot just float up off the mat a little bit and bring that knee towards the center of the hands. Lengthen out through that back leg. Take a look over the shoulder. See if that leg is parallel with the mat. Top of the foot could be pressing into the mat or toe tucked. And you're kind of sitting on the heel right now. Press into the hands, that gives you some space, and then heel toe that left foot towards the right corner of the mat. Finding your pigeon pose, and then maybe, if it's available, you can have that blanket there to fill that space on the left side. That way you can lean into it and square those hips off. Breathing here, framing the knee with the hands, and everybody's just gonna pull back on the hands, pull that heart through, get the shoulder blades down, If we're crowding these shoulders with the ears, we really want to feel that. Pull the scapula or the shoulder blades down the back. And then, if it's available, some people might even come forward a little bit, slowly lowering down. Maybe bringing the third eye. Some people might even like the arms long here. Coming in for sleeping pigeon. Extending the arms long. Slide the hands back under the shoulders on an inhale. Press on up and through. Pull that heart through right at the end, and then slide that left knee back. And then we can tuck that left toe and just let little circles happen with that knee in both directions. Starting to walk the hands back. As soon as the hips move back towards the heels, kick those legs around and swing those legs around. Coming into seated staff pose. Give the legs a little bit of a bounce here. And seated Dandasana is an active posture, so press the hands into the earth. You could always use blocks underneath the hands if you need to, just like this. So make sure you use those. They really help. And we can flex the feet, we can lift the heels up off the mat, lift the kneecaps, active, 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 Dandasana. Seated staff pose. Take a few breaths here. On that next exhale, just allow yourself to sink into the mat. And we're just going to take that right foot back, Jana Shirshasana, dropping that knee out to the side. And you could use a block here or a blanket or something under the knee if the knee hangs in space there. We're flexing the foot here. We can maybe frame the knees with the hands here. We have a little space between the foot and the leg. Some people do press that in, and that's okay. Okay, we could stay right here. This is beautiful. And you could also even use a yoga strap here, which you would have this horseshoe around the foot and waiting for you. Sitting up a little taller, lifting through the crown. Inhale, sweeping those arms. And then it's like you're reaching out through the hands and you're hinging from the hips. This is 2/3 at the hips. We're hinging, hinging, hinging. It doesn't matter how far we come down. We're just hinging, hinging, hinging till we get to where we feel that edge, and then gently frame the leg with the hands maybe here. And we could stay right here with the gaze down, breathing. Some people might want to take a bind where you take that peace finger around the toe here maybe. Some people like that strap around the ball of the foot. But it's just nice to relax into it, and we can start to make our asana practice a little bit more effective, because wherever we send this attention in the body, our energy must go there. Our energy body really reacts to attention. It follows, prana follows attention. And so bring your attention to the back or the hamstring where you're probably feeling this most, or any tension here in the posture, and just breathe into it. We're seeing this body as an object in consciousness. This body is not me. If it was, it would be terrifying. It's always changing. There's nothing to trust. And so here we learn to trust in awareness. The only thing not changing, and it's not a thing. And then right here at the end, just let a little softness, let the shoulders roll over a little bit. Bring that softness to the face and the jaw and the eyes. Sliding the hands back to frame that knee, and then press into the hands. Lift this torso on up. Yup. Then take that hand, press that knee to midline on the left side. Lengthen that leg long, give it a little bounce here. Let the feet fall from side to side. You may even want to take the hands behind the body, step the feet back a little wider than the hips, and just drop the knees back and forth, just releasing that sacral area. The sacral area is your fuel tank for your energy body, where Kundalini energy lies. Back through center after that right side. Sitting back, lengthening the legs long, give the legs a little bounce, let them fall from side to side. And then we're going to take the other side. This time, right foot back, sit up tall, half tree stump, flex that foot, softness in the knee, drop that right knee out, sit up a little taller, get your strap ready if you like that. Framing the knee with the hands so we square off the hips here. Flexing the foot. And then inhale, sweep those arms alongside the ears. Reach up through the fingertips. Lengthen out the lower back. Lengthen and hinge from the hips. Hinging, hinging, hinging just to wherever your edge is. And then framing the foot here with the hands if that's available. Wherever you are in the practice. Some people like the bind here with the yoga strap. Make sure you put it around the ball of the foot. And then lengthen right at the end through the crown. And just take some long, slow, deep breaths. Really igniting this energy body. Getting the physical body, all the liquids flowing. Blood flow. Oxygen. Everything the body loves and needs. And see if you can make a sankalpa or an intention to give this body what it wants, like sleep and water, and because we can override it, we can always override, especially tiredness, and you know you're tired and you push through it, and so then the next day you create this karma, this body is tired. And then if you complained about this body being tired after the body told you it was tired, then you create even more energy out. You're complaining about the karma that you created. Shooting the second arrow into your heart. So make this promise that you're going to give this body what it needs on the level, especially, food, the energetic content, which is the prana content, fresh foods, whole foods. The more processed it is, the more we process out pranic intelligence. And then, understanding that this body is made of, you are what you eat, really. All the molecules and atoms and so that are being replaced, and you're organizing these atoms in space as an intelligence. So whatever you put in the body, that's what you animate. Those are the particles you animate. Gently releasing any bind you might have taken, sliding the hands back, frame the knee, inhale, press into the hands, slowly coming on up, lifting through the crown, get those hands behind you, just lean into the hands, press into the hands, lift this body, and then take that knee midline, lengthen it long, give it a little bounce out, Let the feet fall from side to side. And then we can challenge the core here by reaching through the fingertips. Exhale, start to roll it down vertebra by vertebra, slowly coming down. Or you could help the body down if you have lower back issues. And feel the spine touch down to the mat here. Stepping the feet back towards this body. And we're just going to take a little inversion here. We reverse blood flow with inversions. They're really great for this body in many, many ways. So we're just going to take a nice easy one here, dead bug. So you can bring the knees up and out, bring the calves parallel to the floor. Some people like to hold behind the thighs, or if you want a little challenge for the core, start to extend one leg long and then the other leg long. Breathing here, maybe even rolling out the ankles and wiggling the toes a little bit. And if this feels good, you might even want to float the arms up off the mat too. Turn the palms towards each other. And you're just allowing that reverse blood flow to happen. Breathing into our inversion. Gently allowing the hands to drop out into T. Bend at the knees and bring the calves parallel to the floor. On that next exhale, allow the knees to just drop to the right side. We can stack the hips on top of each other, the knees on top of each other, and keep those shoulder blades down. And then you can turn your head and look over that left shoulder, coming in for our twist here at the end. Breathe, guys. Breathe. Inhale, the head comes through center, the knees come through center, calves parallel to the floor, and then gently drop the knees to the left side. Stack those hips. If you feel like that shoulder blade is lifting up on the right side, keep the knees up a little bit. You'd rather keep the shoulder down. And some people like to even extend one leg long, maybe, coming in for their twist. Breathing, gazing over that right shoulder if that's available. Inhale, the head comes through center, the knees come back through center. Grab right underneath the knees and a few bellows poses here. So big inhale, exhale, pull the knees up into the shoulders, squeeze that breath out. Take a few more. And then take the knees, press that lower back into the mat as you do little circles with the knees. Take it both directions. And then gently touching each foot down to the mat. Extend each leg long to the corners of the mat. Let the pinky toes move towards the floor so you externally rotate the thighs here. Take the arms maybe 6 inches from the body. You could turn the palms up or down, coming in for Shavasana, corpse pose. You might even want to rock the head back and forth just a little bit on the mat. Coming back through center. And we're going to start with a little pranayama breath to really calm the nervous system, to calm this body. This anger is used for anger, for frustration. We use this breath. Sexual angst, this breath can help with. Shitali breath. And so this is where we maybe pierce the lips, or if you can curl your tongue like a hot dog bun. Some people genetically can do that. We sort of inhale through the mouth, through that either curled tongue or just the breath, like, or the lips, like you're drinking through a straw. And then exhale out the nose. And just take a few of these breaths. Nice cooling breath here. One more. Just allow this body to sink into the earth. There's nothing to do, nowhere to get to. All we're doing is allowing and receiving this body, this energy body, this mental body. We're seeing them all as objects in consciousness. Thought has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a subtle thing. Emotion. Each time we check, we're probably feeling some sort of pleasure, pain, or neutral emotion. We can feel the energy in the hands and the feet and the cheeks, maybe in this whole body as we practice. And then we can feel the physical body lying here on the mat, pressure, weight, tactile sensations. And just stay here, lying here on the mat, breathing, sensing, feeling, and knowing this human experience. listening to the teaching with an open heart. So sometimes this human experience in yoga is compared to a chariot ride. And so every chariot has its horses. And the horses represent our sensual experiences, like touch and taste and smell. And so these are always driving us. We're a sensual being, have an essential experience. And so they bring us in all different directions. And then each horse has a rein that runs back to the chariot driver that sits atop the chariot. And so the chariot driver represents our human mind, and these reins represent this connection, the human mind to the sensual experience, navigating this world. And if our reins are all slapping around and our horses are jumping at one sensual experience to the next, chocolate cake and whatever, hedonistic lifestyle, these reins really are tough for the driver to hold on to, and they get weathered and chapped, and you never want one to snap and essentially you go off in some pasture, your horse is in the pasture, maybe suffering with some addiction to sensual experience. And so then we have the chariot itself, which represents the body, this body. And we want to keep this chariot in good shape, because even if the center wagon wheel hole is off, if there's dukkha in the wagon wheel, we have a bumpy ride in this human experience, don't we? The chariot is so important to keep that uptake. And then we have the real you, which is the rider of the chariot itself, inside the carriage. And this rider represents this exalted perpetual consciousness that's always in the background, that can listen to this body tell you it's hungry, it's thirsty, it's tired, whatever. It can feel emotion, pain, pleasure, or neutral. We can even work with the driver and create thought. But we're always here riding in the background. So we're not in the body is in us. Starting to feel the hands and the fingers mentally first, inhabit them, and then gently start to wiggle the fingers, maybe roll out the wrist gently, start to rock the head on the mat a little bit. And then when you're ready, just rolling over onto your right side, gently find that fetal position with the body, creating a sankalpa or intention to bring our yoga practice off the mat and into the world where it really counts, so we can reduce unnecessary suffering. And so making an intention here to start to change your language. Instead of I'm, angry, you can say anger is like this, because anger is some emotion moving through. You're not anger, because later you're going to be satisfied or greedy. Who knows what it is? It's always changing. Or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, or I'm tired, or I'm sick. Notice yourself talking to yourself like that, and see if you can catch yourself. Even if you catch yourself once, it's wonderful. This body is thirsty, this body is hungry, this body doesn't feel well, or whatever. Disidentify, see this human experience for what it is. Letting that intention sink deep in, catch yourself, and change your language and see what happens. You get a little space. You had it all along, but you just unveil it. Lengthen that top leg long, gently press into the palm, pushing this body back up into a seated position. Just coming in for a moment of gratitude here. On that next inhale, bring those hands to heart center. Gently press the hands into each other evenly. Relax the shoulders back and down. Feel where the thumbs touch the heart. Bring your attention there. Thanking the teachers and the teachings. So this is Yogic Science 101. We disidentify with these koshas, with this body, with these bodies. We know ourselves as awareness, the only thing that's consistent in our experience, and it's not a thing. So thank you for all these pointers. Thank you for practicing loving this body, choosing peace in the world. Thank you for listening to the teachings. And then thank you for letting me share. I love being an instrument of this wisdom. So thank you for letting me be an instrument. Namaste.